Hola amigo, it is I, El Presidente Quill18, back with some more Tropico 5, and today we are celebrating the Waterborn expansion pack. So I've just gone ahead and downloaded it and verified that it's working, but other than that, I have not really played this expansion. We're going to go ahead and give the first mission a go and talk about some of the new buildings that are involved in here, and we'll see how it goes. So this is a sort of a bigger sort of download. They're calling it an actual expansion, not just one of their little mini DLCs, because it comes with a 6-mission campaign, 9 new buildings, 4 pre-made maps that you can also use for sandbox play, that sort of thing. More music, more avatar costumes, that sort of thing. So we're going to go right ahead into the campaign for this expansion. So it's called the Lord of the Pearl campaign for the Waterborn expansion. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'll grab one of my existing dynasties. We'll leave the settings on the default just to get a proper sense of how they are. Just like with the main campaign, there are 2 maps to choose from at the start. I suspect we will be alternating back and forth, just like in the main campaign. So we'll go ahead and start on Costa Maldecido, and go on there. So, one of the things you'll notice right away is there is a distinct lack of any sort of voice acting in for anything related to the new expansion. You'll also notice there's no music in the background. That's because of YouTube copyrighty kind of issues. Unfortunately, I cannot play the awesome Tropico music on YouTube. You'll see here the setup for the campaign. As soon as it finishes loading, at the top of the screen, we'll get some actual text, but we won't actually get any voice acting. And it'll be the same thing for various quest pop-ups and whatnot. See, have you heard the legend of the Black Pearl? It's a jewel of indescribable beauty, mostly because no one has ever seen it. Some say that the pearl has mystical powers, others say that it is cursed. No matter, I want it. It'd be so nice to have voice acting here. The legends say the pearl is resting in the depths of the Caribbean Sea. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of references to a certain movie here. A bit of luck and a couple of loaded dice won me a governor's title in the region. I read too fast, maybe. The resources of the 2 islands under my command should help me finance the treasure hunt. The Black Pearl will soon be mine. That's it. So we get subtitles. Actually, they're not subtitles. They're, I don't know, super titles because they're at the top of the screen. And here, the first quest pop-up comes up. Again, no voice acting, which is really, it really is a shame, because the voice acting in music has always been one of the highlights of Tropico. The humor, the everything, but the voice acting is definitely part of it. So I realize that, you know, it does require that you bring a whole lot of people for what amounts to a lot less content. It makes it maybe a pain in the ass to get everyone in, but, you know, it is a shame, I'm going to say. So, right away, we get our first quest that introduces some of the new mechanics. Our first quest is to build 3 oyster farms. So we're hunting for the Black Pearl right from the start, but everything is a ruse to sort of disguise the hunting of the Black Pearl here. So by completing this, we will get a 12-month mandate extension, and there we have it. So we'll go ahead and give the game a quick pause and talk about where the new changes are. In the build menu, there's a new tab over here for Waterborn, and all the Waterborn expansion pack buildings are in here. So you can see our 9 new ones. We've got the bathysphere, the offshore office, the oyster farm, the smuggler's dock, the nuclear submarine, the floating apartment, the glass bottom restaurant, the fishing trawler, and the tidal power plant. So some of these things give you extra ways to generate money. For example, the oyster farm. And some of these are kind of a way to alleviate maybe too many cramped quarters. For example, being able to build housing out in the sea as opposed to using up land real estate. On some maps, that may be more or less useful. So it's interesting to see. Anyway, we're going to keep going with just this first mission in this video and see exactly how it goes. So we do have the mission to build the oyster farm. So we're going to go ahead and select those. And you'll see we have to build them on top of fishing resources. So I'll go ahead and build the 3 right over here on the coast. Ooh, I should have held shift. There and there. So the oyster farms need uneducated workers. Yeah, illiterate people is perfectly fine for this. We should have some people nearby. What's nice about it is that you don't really have to worry, you know, too much about road connections and quite as much Teamster overhead, for example. I think the way that the goods get passed around is a little bit easier. We've got our standard quest. Oh, I'm paused. I can't click on quests.
Greetings, old chap. Have I got a deal for you today? As Crown Representative, I can offer you your very own trading license.
And see, here's the thing. Every time you sort of get used to the fact that you're not going to get voice acting in your mission pop-ups, you get an old mission like this, which does have the voice acting. It's really kind of disjointed. I'm going to go ahead and just buy the trade license from the Dutch. We get less stuff, but it's nice and cheap, and that works out pretty well for me. We got another ping over here for a quest. Pearls for swine. Export 5,000 pearls, and the mandate increased for 12 months. I do like the puns, of course. It's the other thing in Tropico, all the puns. So apparently we're feeding pearls to swine over here, which is all right, fine enough.
As you know, His Majesty is fond of setting
more voice
fire.
acting in there. So we've got to build some logging camps. So the pearl exports will happen on their own. So we will be producing pearls from the oyster farm, and they will be sold at the dock, and that'll auto-complete in time. So we'll go ahead and set up the logging camps that we need for an extra quest. I'll go ahead and build some extra roads as well. There we go. Just want some nice straight lines over there. And maybe what we'll do is get a road going this way. And just get a little bit of extra roads. This little road is kind of going to be a pain in the butt to work out. Tell you what, let me connect over here and do that. There we go. That'll feel okay. Let's go and get our logging camps up and running. So nice green areas over here. Let's get the rotation correct and drop one over at this side of the island. And maybe we'll build another one over here. Let me extend this road out. It's a nice way to get some money early on. Plus we can build a lumber mill and convert things into planks, which are another great way to make some money. And there we have it. Mostly I'm going to respond to quests as they happen. Not try to get too far ahead of myself. And let's go ahead and kick it up to the next speed. We start out with 99 people in this scenario. Low approval rating, of course, because most of the people early on are going to be royalists. But we can still get the option of advancing in ages. Unlike the main campaign, where in the first mission you can't actually go to the next era, you can declare independence in this scenario. And, you know, it actually might make your life a lot easier.
His Royal Majesty has instructed me to present you with this letter of commendation
with this
for your achievements in the name of the Empire.
Thank you, thank you. So already we're at 5 years, 3 months of the mandate, and we're going to get another 12 months when we finish the export pearls over here. So I'm not rushing into the 12-month mandate extension. I usually like to grab the extra colonists on this first one. Yeah, I think they tend to be royalists, but I just like the extra manpower, and I feel it really helps get the island off a little bit faster. We should probably build a few farms or maybe some ranches. I mean, food is never bad, but also it gives us some more exports. That's kind of yellowish. Kind of some bad terrain maybe for the ranches. We can fit a few over here, but it's sort of a yellowish green. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's far from great. Maybe we'll wait. If we get a quest, maybe we'll put some down, but otherwise we'll wait. We can put down some extra plantations. Corn is always good for more food, but apparently we can get some decent banana plantations over here too, which one gives you extra food variety, which is nice, but also they sell for a decent amount. I just realized we built right next to this lumber mill and took out some of their territory, but it's probably going to be fine. So as per usual, I go into debt. That's just the way I run things. Welcome to Quilland, where everyone is always hungry and everything's always in debt. Oh, another quest.
Technological progress is the path to autonomy.
Standard quest to build a library. We'll definitely get that going as soon as possible. Plus, I think the reward for that
technological progress
will lead to, what, +3 educated people, which is really handy to keep around. And I think they're rebels by default. Or revolutionaries, I should say. All right, a couple of banana plantations. I'll go ahead, even though we don't have any research points yet, I'll go ahead and queue up some research that way. Just so that we're ready. So yeah, as soon as we make a little bit of cash, and we are going to export some pearls right away. Not quite enough to go positive yet, but we'll also get some money from our governor, or the king, as soon as the year ends. This is our lucky day. I traded all my money for a magic compass that show us the way to the Black Pearl. We only have to close our eyes and wish with all our heart. All right, so we got Captain Joe has sold us a magic compass. And as far as I know, that's not linked to any particular quest. It's just sort of prompting the storyline forward. So we're going to have to wait to see exactly how that develops in time. We'll, once we finish exporting this pearls, the main storyline should advance at that point. There we go. Good export there. As soon as I get a little bit more cash, just going to try to avoid going too far negative, even though that's kind of the way I run things.
His Majesty wants to exchange wood for sheep. Wood for sheep, anyone?
So that's a reference to the fantastic Settlers of Catan board game. So we're already exporting logs, so that'll auto-complete. We're not even have to worry about it. We could speed it up by building extra lumber mills, but we shouldn't have to. Although I'm kind of tempted to build one over here, maybe. No, I don't know. We'll probably wait until we discover some more land. Looks like there's a couple of mines over here, so almost certainly we'll send an expedition out there at some point, and then we'll build some extra lumber mills, or maybe even over here, because we can build right on the edge of the fog, and they'll still, I think, chop down trees from inside the fog. Crown just sent me 5,000 bucks, pretty good. Let's go ahead and drop down our library. How do I want to put it? If I leave it like that, there'll be enough room for a tavern in between, right next to the palace. And it's nice for El Presidente to be able to drink, but maybe we'll put it there, and then we can put some housing on the other side, maybe. So with this pirate-themed expansion and the talk of drink, I do want to make a note that any rumors that El Presidente has ever yo-ho-hoed with a 12-year-old bottle of rum is completely false. The label clearly said 18 years old bottle of rum. So, you know, we should put those rumors to sleep right away. El Presidente only drinks the best. Actually, I don't even know if you can really get 18-year-old rum. I know you can get scotch that's like 12, 18, 21 years old. But rum, I think, is like, it's younger, isn't it? It's like an 8-year-old bottle of rum is pretty... It's pretty old, pretty rare. Well, maybe not rare, but... So our library is done. We've got one person who's already educated. I'm not going to hire any college-educated workers. Hopefully I'll get them for free as we complete various other tasks. We'll still see how it goes. I think I am going to go ahead and drop down another logging camp right on the fringe over here. It's not, you know, super green, but it's not bad. So we'll do that, and then we'll probably follow up with a lumber mill. As soon as we're done exporting logs, just to make sure we don't get in a situation... Actually, we have enough logs ready for export, so never mind. I'll go ahead and build my... Oh, we don't have the planks technology, of course. But we can build the creamery, because I do have the big cheese DLC. So it would be really nice to build some ranches that can produce some dairy.
Presidente, education is important. Well, look at me. Who knows where I would have ended up were I not kicked out educated.
All right, we're going to go ahead and just get some private money there. We don't have the money to really educate anyone. I'll go ahead and do an exploration over on this side of things, just kind of over here. That should be enough to catch this mine, expose it, and maybe give us another good place to put down a... Wow, we're good on lumber mills. I would really like to get a ranch going. You know, we can get decent goat ranches right here. Oops. Let's see if I can put down more than one. I can't there. I guess I'll have to make do with that. Searching for the Black Pearl. I'm so excited. I was fishing when Captain Joe's magical compass went crazy. I left my boat to mark the spot and swam back to the shore to tell you. All right. Complete all tasks to find the Black Pearl.
His
We're working on
Royal
it.
Majesty has instructed me to present you with this letter of commendation.
All right, so we finished
for
the
your
logs quest.
achievements in the name of the Empire.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to go ahead and order any more citizens. I think I'll take the treasury subsidy just to make things speed up a little bit. We're actually pretty good on money, so we'll see what we can do to accelerate things. One thing I should do is my Teamster's office. Let's max out the pay, and the construction office, same thing. Just make everyone a little bit more effective. And, dude, where's my boat? Objective, build a new library. Free technology, gain expedition progress. So apparently we're going to go and rock 2 libraries, which is a bit overkilly, at least in the first era. On the other hand, in the second era, we'll kind of appreciate...
Great news. While searching through the...
We'll appreciate the extra research that 2 libraries can bring, which will make a pretty big difference. We do have our capped-out managers over there, which is... Or not our managers, but our employees. At some point, we'll research the shovel and unlock these mines. I'll probably go and build the mines right away. I know a lot of people are like, oh, no, it's really worth saving them until the later era because then they won't run out. But I think
Our
for
land
this
is
mission, I'll
untamed
just
and
go
wild,
ahead and build
but
them as
it is
quickly as
our
possible.
home. We must do everything in our power to defend it.
Okay. Well, I definitely do want some guard towers at some point, no matter what. They are like, guard towers by your dock are the #1 way to secure your independence. So, because that's where the enemies tend to spawn, is right at the dock. So I'll go ahead and drop 2, like, right there. And we'll want to build some more later on. Something like 6 towers, or maybe even 8, if you want to be super secure, will basically fend off any invasion. Old chap, His Majesty is very pipped about you dabbling in suspicious acts instead of concentrating your efforts to feed his growing royal swine. All right. Just story development. I don't think there's anything specifically that we did there that upset them. Crown sent me some more money, so they're not that mad. I can go ahead and hire some more uneducated foreign workers. They're super cheap and will help to pad out our numbers dramatically. We can use some more over here.
Someone stole my manuscript and published it under a pseudonym.
Ah, yes, so we got a ranch
While
upgrades.
His Majesty finds your island's backwardness.
Research the plank technology. Well, we're on it already. May as well queue up the rest of the skills after that. We can upgrade our ranches, increase the effectiveness of goat ranches for each nearby plantation. Oh, well, that should be pretty good because we've got a couple of farms nearby or plantations nearby already. And we might go ahead and build another one. We can see what kind of plantations we can build over here. Again, extra food doesn't hurt, but if we can trade it away, that's even better. We could build another corn one just to make sure. There's some decent land for pineapples off on the side here, but it's hard to use all the tiles. I could do something like that. That's relatively green. A bit of a gap over here, but we can fill that with something else. That's okay. Let's put down one more. Sugar? Whoa! Great island for sugar. Okay. We'll put one there. And I'll put one... no, that's not really going to work. And I'm going to try not to take over too much territory from the logging area over here. We can go ahead and build more logging camps over here to fuel our plank industry later on, our lumber mills. The other thing we could do is build some more pearl or oyster... What do you call it? Oyster farms. I don't know if you farm oysters, really, but I could go ahead and drop it way over there, and I think that would still work. I'm pretty sure all of these would be functional, and that's a lot of pearls being exported. We'll have to see how it goes. To hit the bottom, a man needs a plan. So while Penultimo was rifling the library, I took my time to read an old book about deep-sea diving. So they're going to use, a diving bell. So we have to build a Catholic mission and then steal its diving bell. All right, that's under welfare and media. We're going to put a Catholic mission. Perfect spot right over here. Maybe I'll turn it that way. Good to have it. Increases everyone's happiness, which makes it so that you can declare independence, and advances the plot. So we're definitely going to want to do that. I don't tend to build much in the way of housing using...
Thanks to your efforts, the revolution...
in this first era, just because the mansion... Or not they're not even mansions. Well, you can build mansions, but the country houses are not terribly good. Sometimes you get a quest to do them, like build 5 or something, in which case I do. But other than that, I prefer just waiting until I can level up and then build tenements. You don't need the country houses to reach 50% approval to declare independence, so I don't usually bother. Now, my people can live in shacks.
His Royal Majesty has instructed me...
We just discovered the number of times you need to.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and take the money there because I was a bit in debt. I don't need more mandate, and I've got a fine amount of people. Plus, I can still spend, like, if I want uneducated people, I can get them for, what, $100 right now? So I think we're better off taking the money. There we go. We just traded a bunch of goods, making huge cash. I could speed things along by quick building the Catholic mission. I think I actually will, because I have a lot of construction projects, I think, that were still queued up. I tested the underwater bell myself, and now my ears hurt. What? Speak up, I can't hear you. I want to keep my Tropican comrades from repeating my mistake. We need to put all candidates through a test that can simulate the effects of the brutal pressure on the diver's ears. Build a new opera house. Okay. We should have enough money to do that. Yeah, there we go. We can build an opera house over here. Still kind of an awkward gap between the road and the libraries. I could preemptively drop down a tavern over there, but it's very likely I'm going to get a quest to build a tavern at some point anyway, so I'm just going to wait and then tuck it in there once that comes up. I'm pretty sure it'll fit. Yeah, just one tile wide, so that's perfect. All right. Just waiting for events. Got to finish the opera house. Oh,
we found out how to use...
Discovered the
The
trigger.
revolution needs the people's support. And for some reason I do not understand. The people want religion.
Yeah, so it's kind of
Thanks
awkward
to
when you
your
get
efforts.
the quests like that. Oh, I did get credit for the Catholic mission. Sometimes you have to build that second one to get credit. But I guess that wasn't a build one, it was a have one. So I'll take in more revolutionaries. They'll be nicely educated, which is always handy. Ah, the divers are too underpaid to go on a dangerous mission. We got to bribe 5 fishermen. So that's mostly a question of us just having money. It's kind of an awkward interface to do this sort of bribe.
Viva el presidente!
Now, depending on how much money they make, the bribe amounts will change. So keep an eye open, because some people will want more money than others.
Okay.
See, he wants 2,000. We can get away with people who are... No, he wants 2,000 as well, because they're well off for some reason. And this guy here, he's poor, so we can bribe him for only that. Let's see who else we've got here. How about you? Poor. Okay.
I sat with 3 other members of the research team.
Discovered our foreman technology. I apologize. I'm assuming that most of you guys have played the base game at this point, so you don't need to see the pop-ups.
Ay, caramba.
So I'm skipping through them. But, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't.
At your service.
Poor. We'll bribe him. Wouldn't surprise me if I accidentally misclick and banish someone.
Greetings.
There we go. That's the final bribe. We get credit for it right away. Oh, we've also got an
His
extra couple of
Royal
quests here.
Majesty would like to know more about your...
Send an expedition.
In a flash of...
Build a lumber mill. All right. And our main story quest should advance very, very shortly. I'm going to send an expedition.
As my father used to say, ignorance is bliss.
So many pop-ups. So, the family member we sent away to school has returned, and then this is the storyline quest. Underwater bell tests weren't sufficient, oh boy. Even Penultimo can dive that deep if he keeps his breath. European scientists are already experimenting with the bathyscaphe, a more sophisticated and complex method to reach the deepest depths. A friend of mine runs Taikia, a company obsessed with parts. They can disassemble a bathyscape and ship it to us in the form of 1,000 tiny bits. The rest is do it yourself. So we got to import 9,999 resources, and the reward will be to find the Black Pearl. So notice we got to queue up our research again. So let's go ahead and we're going to send out an expedition, say over there, just to get credit for that. We'll build a lumber mill as well. Now that we have the technology, it's also going to increase our money output pretty effectively. Can I not tuck it in sort of a convenient kind of place here? That one works out. I like to put my industry near docks because then the goods, we're sort of almost intercepting the goods from the dock. Like they bring it here and then they deliver it there and doesn't really add much in the way of movement rate.
The revolution dictates that all people are equal. Now, assign some of those equal people to give orders to the other equal people.
That's great text. I love that one. So we need a manager in the Catholic mission. We need to... Partial assembled. The world's getting smaller, old chap. One wrong word to the wrong person, and soon the shores of Tropico will be teeming with treasure hunters, all after the Black Pearl. So we can build some smuggler's docks and potentially bring things in a little bit faster. We're probably going to want a second dock overall as well. So we'll just deal with a few more of these. We'll assign a manager to the Catholic mission. That's a nice, easy job to do. One of our leaders, I suppose. There we go. A mentor. I like that one.
Thanks to your efforts.
You can get free technology, but more educated people I'm never going to complain about. So the smuggler's docks allow you to get additional trade routes with the smugglers. So we're going to go ahead and build a couple of those, and then we're going to start importing stuff. Now, it doesn't matter what we import. It says parts, but all we have to do is import 9,999 resources, period. It doesn't matter what they are. So now we're going to go ahead and set up our first trade route. And we'll import basically whatever's cheapest. We could import logs so that we can turn them into planks. That might not be a bad idea. The other option is importing corn, which is cheaper per chunk. Coffee or cocoa. We'll go ahead and import some logs. And then maybe we'll run a second lumber mill. Because we're going to have to kind of justify importing logs at that point. Because we're going to be paying every time a boat comes. Yeah, we'll be selling some goods, but we'll also be buying logs.
His Royal Majesty has instructed me to present you...
Let's go and take another treasury subsidy. Yeah, we finished the lumber mill, so that made him happy. People are mostly working there. I'm going to go ahead and bring in a handful of illiterate foreigners.
Presidente,
they're cheap.
After suffering 1,000...
And we've unlocked the newspaper, which is another great way. That building makes a big difference in terms of bumping up your happiness. What I'll probably do I want to go into the next era? If I do, the thing to do would be to build a tavern and a newspaper. Almost certainly that would bump us into a high enough approval rating to go to the next era. I'm going to wait a little bit longer. We'll probably get a quest to build a fort. So I'm going to wait until then, and then build the fort, because I'm going to want to have the troops so that I can declare independence. I could always take a loan. I could, like, bribe the king, probably $20,000, to secure independence, but I think I'm going to prefer this way. I should get some roads going on along the coast, like that. Just realized my construction is probably not working out so well. Let's connect that road over there. And not really a good way to continue the road over there. I guess that'll be fine.
The expedition has made a wonderful discovery, a peculiar wide ear.
I always like to take that option, mandate extension, not that we really need it, but also the revolutionary support, which is super valuable. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and probably plop down another couple of docks, simply because it'll give us more external trade routes. Can I fit one in over here? Yes, I can. We might just build the one, actually. But a few more trade routes. I can't remember. Does the lighthouse give me... It gives me more trade offers. So I'm not going to rush it out yet. I'll probably get a quest to build a lighthouse, so I'll just wait until that happens. I got money. I'm going to go ahead and quick build the other dock. Actually, maybe I should have quick built the smuggler's den.
His Majesty watched his bonfire burn with joyful glee. He enjoyed the event so much that he decided to hold an even bigger bonfire.
Well, I hardly need a mandate extension. So I'm going to go ahead and increase prices at 20% because more money is good and more revolutionary support will actually be quite helpful for us. So we have a second dock, so we have a second trade ship. So I could apply the same a second trade ship to import logs if I wanted to. We can import that corn, bananas, tobacco. You know what? I'll go ahead and add another ship to the log thing. So we'll bring them in twice as fast. You can see we're already importing parts here. We do have to pay for that, but that's okay. And I'll go ahead and build another lumber mill so we can take advantage of that. Oh, I never built a creamery. That's right. I built the goat farms or goat ranches. I never actually built the creamery. Let's build them over here as soon as I get some money again.
We have invented red tape.
Excellent. Congratulations. We have to export 10,000 planks, but if we do that, we will get the extra revolutionary support, and we're raising prices by 20%, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So we should have plenty of planks waiting to go out. Yes, no? I guess it's under the other, maybe?
They say a man's home is his castle, old chap. I would state that the reverse is also true. My castle is my home, or at least one of my homes.
So we'll say we're going to build cheap homes. Again, the revolutionary support is what I'm looking for here. So we got to build the 5 country houses, which is one of the reasons I don't build them earlier on, because if you get the quest and you're like, well, that's a lot of country houses, which aren't really that terribly useful later on. But we'll consider that. Pirates are attacking. 3 pirate bands will attack Tropico when the timer goes out. Defend the smugglers' docks is what they're mostly looking for, presumably. So I probably will put up more guard towers, but I'm going to start off with the fort on the dock, and I'm trying to figure out where things might spawn. Maybe I'll do something like that. If they're going for the docks, then that'll at least help to defend. I don't like to spread out my towers because all too often an invading force can take out like towers in pairs and just keep moving through. But if you sort of clump them up, then they often can't even kill a single one. We'll see how it goes. But hey, now we're going to have a military for when we declare independence, which will be nice. We're still importing parts. We haven't exported any planks yet. We got tons in the input, tons in the output. You know what we need? I think we need a second Teamster's office. Yeah, we don't have a lot of money right now, but I'm going to go ahead and build another Teamster's office right away. And I'll put it sort of the other side of the island right over here. Clearly, we need goods being delivered a lot faster.
We, the leaders of the Tropican nation, in our desire to put into words the will of the Tropican people to follow and obey the laws of the state and maintain the traditional universal Tropican values of liberty, peace, love, understanding, siesta, and hidden Swiss bank accounts,
of course,
do hereby sign the first legitimate constitution of Tropico.
I like it. All right, we'll be moving towards that relatively soon. Let's go ahead and insist that this military force is top priority. Certainly it'll get finished before the pirates attack. I'm not even concerned about that.
We, the people of Tropico, demand the right to bear rams. Wait, that's not right. There's a typo here.
All right, I'll accept that, and we might well go ahead and edict it right away. Increase crime and liberty, make infantry units stronger. Last for 2 years, which will last us through the pirate attack, and then we'll probably declare independence right after that. I don't want to declare independence first, because depending on how long the battle lasts, we might still be fighting by the time the pirates show up. Not that we have the approval yet, but we're going to get there really soon. Especially if I go ahead, finish the country houses, or even it's probably a good idea. I've got some money again. Good. To go build that tavern, which I haven't gotten around to doing yet. And let's go ahead and build a newspaper, which will dramatically increase liberty. It's lower here. Oh, because of all the military buildings. So if I tuck it in, say here, we might be able to counter some of that. And then I'll build some country houses just across the street. But I want to make sure I don't go into the negatives too far here. Especially with buying the planks. We are buying the logs, rather. We are pretty dramatically increasing our expenditures. Yeah, we should turn it around and make a profit as soon as they get converted into actual planks. But for now, we're sort of front-loading a lot of our costs right now. We only need another 1,000 imports to complete that quest, though. And I think we find the Black Pearl as soon as that finishes, actually. So we really don't have to rush independence. Smuggler imported 300 logs. So I don't even know how that works. Provides an additional smuggler's route. So when you import via smugglers, so this is from the West India Company. Do they import? I don't even know how the smugglers work, actually. I wonder if they just import stuff you're already importing, but maybe for free? It might be interesting. It certainly works out well, so not only do we have to pay for them, we can get some sort of passively for free. Might be the case, actually. What does that actually say over here? It illegally imports extra goods from started import trade routes. Provides additional trade routes to the smugglers. Okay, so you don't just get extra trade route options, you actually get some free goods automatically.
Presidente. Woo! I'm getting ahead of myself. Governor.
So if you are making use of import trade routes, that becomes extremely valuable. And in fact, this kind of encourages you to make use of import trade routes. There's a quest to declare independence. We're not going to take that quite yet. We're going to go through the pirate attack first. And just to make sure, I'm going to drop an extra couple of guard towers along the beach, I suppose, because that'll protect us from both the king and the smugglers. Let's do something like that. Now, I'll feel better about things. We have a full set of soldiers over here. We've got a full set of soldiers over there. We do have the right to bear arms, which will make us stronger. Wow, so pearl, much black, or such black, much amaze, wow. Excuse my rambling, I just lost my mind just by looking at the black pearl. I bet I mean you, will be extremely rich once this miracle is sold. Now we have to find a customer who is rich enough to pay top dollar for it. And I guess that's the end of the first mission. I suspect we'll be shunted off to the second island. Indeed we are. Ojos del Diablo. Is that the eyes of the devil? So attempt to sell the black pearl and see what happens. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and comment and subscribe and favorite and share and all that kind of good stuff. And do let me know if you want to see more Tropico 5, the Waterborn expansion. I always enjoy some Tropico 5, so if you guys want more videos, I will not be opposed to it. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.